Hello and welcome back to the Lore Master Caerula's channel. Throughout the Battle Angel Alita series, Alita has sort of consistently been compared to her original self, Yoko. In terms of how far she's been progressing through the series, we get these allusions as early as the original manga run, when she's fighting Gun and remembering lessons from her past, which she is unable to put into practice and is totally defeated in that fight. So an interesting topic of discussion I thought would be to see exactly when in the series does Alita surpass Yoko. So without further ado, let's look at the evidence. To even get our first hint of a comparison between the two, being relative, we have to jump into the Last Order manga, specifically the fight between Caerula Sanguis and Alita. What's interesting is Caerula is holding back by a lot in this fight and isn't taking Alita seriously at all, and completely trashes her in this fight. However, it is revealed later in post-death date that Caerula had actually fought Yoko 200 years prior, and seemingly in the exact same way that she was fighting Alita today. Later in the conversation, when Caerula is explaining how her death gate works, Alita mentally states that effectively she hasn't made any progress in 200 years. So you could say that Alita and Yoko are relative here if you take it literally, like Alita hasn't made any progress is the exact same power level, but I don't think so. For one, Alita barely remembers Yoko, and Caerula herself never specifically measures the two. And this holding back Caerula had thrown these knives at the start of the fight, which carved out a specific place for Alita to die, and Alita never noticed. And throughout the fight, Caerula was more or less just toying around. The point is, Caerula destroyed Alita so badly that even if Alita was slightly better or worse than Yoko, it really wouldn't be noticeable to Caerula. Alita and Yoko get a comparison again during the flashback on the way to Melgendek, in which Yoko is shown to completely and utterly slaughter a corridor of some 30 guards with ease. And Alita is just standing there in shock and awe, and is so impressed she describes it as beautiful and just the pure and true Panzer cunt. And she was actually shocked to see that the one committing that was herself, or rather Yoko, who accomplished this feat. This always read to me as Alita just conceding Yoko was a superior martial artist, and indeed in the series we never see Alita perform anything close to what Yoko just accomplished up to that point. Shortly after, we do get a sort of measuring stick when Alita confronts Sai, a fellow Kunstler who's a Hoher Krieger, aka Advanced Warrior level Kunstler, while Imaginos 1.0 Alita is, by Caerula's estimation, only Krieger level, aka Warrior level. And this is reflected when Sai begins to beat Alita's ass, giving her the hands and such. It's really, really bad. However, midway through the fight, Alita has a sort of heart-to-heart connection with Yoko and accepts her as part of her being. Once that happens, Alita's whole demeanor changes. She gets a massive power amp, to the point I like to consider this, for scaling purposes, Imaginos 1.5 Alita. Remember those ranks I mentioned earlier? So Alita destroys Sai so badly, he even notes that Alita jumped from being Krieger to being able to use Meister, aka Master level techniques. That's a 2-level jump, by the way. Now, personally, I think that is where Alita surpassed Yoko. However, I know there are arguments, so I want to address them now. One of them being that, given that Yoko killed Erica before she became a Necro Soldier, but Alita and Erica are clearly relative in their fight on Mars in Mars Chronicle, Yoko must still be stronger. The argument doesn't work because there's just no way that Erica hasn't been improving in the 2 centuries since Yoko was around. Coupled with the fact that Erica states very blatantly that Alita has improved with time, it's just a hard argument to swallow. Another problem is that what you would suggest is that Alita during the Caerula fight was just horrendously, massively weaker than Yoko, which if she was, Caerula probably would have said, you know, man, you're kind of trash, or you've gotten weaker, something to that effect, but we don't see that. So that's my opinion on that. Anyway, that's my estimation of things. Tell me what you think down below if anyone's watching this. Until next time, goodbye.